Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I want to confess to you that I am a woman who is from Zim, but currently living in a foreign land. So I did come here with my husband the first time around. When we came here, it was in the year 2014. We worked and we returned back home. My husband then came at the end of 2015 after we had lost out on our investment. So we did not have enough money for us to return back together to South Africa. So after my husband had came here alone, that was when he raised enough money, so much that I also came and we started working. So at that time, things got so easy because we were now working at this other restaurant. And after we had worked at that restaurant, we were raising enough money. It happened that the money that we had raised was more than enough. And then we decided that it was far much better for my husband to return back home. He returned back home, and in the meantime, that was when he started dating my own little sister, and I did not know that this was what was happening. So he returned back to South Africa to work, and I needed to return home after a couple of months later. I returned back home after a couple of months later. In the meantime, when I came back, I was with my little sister because I had just fallen pregnant. Can you just imagine them sleeping together? Well, at least I was pregnant like that. So me and my little sister, we were both not working at that time. I got so sick so much that I had to go and stay at the hospital also for a long time. Whilst I was there, that was when they continued, and then she fell pregnant. I came out of the hospital only to find out that this was what had happened, and it really hurt me so much. I confronted my husband and he refused, and they continued because I believed him. I did not want to believe the rumors that were going around that indeed they had been sleeping together. So the pregnancy grew and she started staying somewhere else. By the time that she gave birth, me and her, we were no longer talking together. And now that was when she started going around wanting to break my marriage. And then I said, we need to fight fire with fire. I went to this white garment prophet who helped me for the longest time. And after he had helped me, he said things were not working. It was time for me to go to a traditional healer, thinking that the traditional healer might help me. So I went to a traditional healer. When I was there, that was when I was told that at least for me to be able to save my marriage, there was some form of blood that was going to be needed. And I said, what kind of blood is going to be needed? And he told me that no human blood will ever be required. The only blood that was going to be needed, it was the blood of an animal. So I then bought a chicken from that same traditional healer who gave me that chicken and told me to slaughter that chicken. So I slaughtered the chicken, Brother Nashi. After I had slaughtered the chicken, and then I went with the corpse of that chicken to the graveyards as per the instruction of that traditional healer. Little did I know that this person did not come out into the open about this ritual. The purpose of me going to the graveyard, I was going there to pick up the soul of a person that had died and had been buried in that graveyard, so that I can use that person's soul. So I took along with me the spirit of a man who happened to be moving around, the spirit of the dead, and followed me back to the traditional healer's shrine. But I felt something was strange in my blood, as if my blood suddenly was boiling. I was feeling nervous and panicking at the same time. I could not understand what was going on until the traditional healer told me that this was what was taking place. There was a spirit that I had gone to collect at the graveyard, for this spirit was much needed so that I can be able to resolve the issues that I was facing in my life. So after that was when I returned back to South Africa. My husband, because of this spirit that was now controlling him, he stopped talking to my little sister until my husband got so sick that he nearly passed away. I did not know that this spirit was now angry that I was sleeping with my husband, because it was now considering itself as my own husband. I had to quickly return back to that traditional healer. This thing of going to a traditional healer, it is just bringing problems upon your own problems. I was now moving up and down. You know how many times I used to go to Zim within 3 months? I would go maybe 4 up to 5 times. I was always on the road. As for my husband, he could not complain, simply because I was using this spirit again on him, so he was powerless. So I returned there, and then the traditional healer assisted me. I got some money out of this deal. I did not know that by the time that I was slaughtering that chicken and going with it to the graveyard, I was also putting the life of one of my youngest brother on the line. He died without ever knowing that this is what I had done to him. His family right now is suffering, and I am not even allowed to help his wife and the kids. Yet I do have money. You should see how much I spent here in South Africa using this money on people that are not even related to me. Yet I have some of my own relatives that are suffering out there, such as the pain of being told that you are now a ritualist. You have as much money as you want, but still you can't even afford to take care of your own relatives. So here I am, Brother Nashi. I just want to send out a strong warning to other people out there. It's not like I have anything against the white garment church from our country, but there are things that are done sometimes, things that they do, encouraging you step by step. You end up being at the traditional healer's doorstep, and you wanting something that is a quick fix. That is when you will end up killing your own relatives. As for my husband, we are still together, but he is not like a human being anymore. Always looking at me. Sometimes he can be drooling saliva just looking at the TV. Is that a man, or I'm just living with a tokoloshi in my home? The reason as to why he is like this, it is because of the spirit of that dead man that is always fighting with him spiritually. He can't be normal because of this. But that is my own story. I used to be a good woman, but all changed by the time that I found out that he had impregnated my little sister. When you post, please tell me. I want to hear what other people out there will say about my story. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister. That was the translation of the message that he sent to me. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.